The purpose of this lesson is to show you how to use the equation editor in Word. So let's get started. We're going to create a series of math problems. So let's begin by just putting your name at the top of the page. You can do this in your header. And again, just type your name, the block, and the date. Close the header, and we'll begin. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a fraction. So let's just label it fraction, and just hit the Tab key. In order to create any kind of math equations or symbols, what I recommend doing is using the equation editor. The equation editor is located on the Insert ribbon. Click to the Insert ribbon and go over to the right where you're going to see Equation. When you click on Equation, it opens up your equation tools. This is like your equation editor. So in here, you can type your equation. So we're going to just type 2.5 as a fraction. Type the number 2. Notice at the top of your ribbon, you have a fractions tool. When you click the down arrow with fractions, you're going to see your common fractions. We're going to take the first one, that is the most common. Notice that there are 2 boxes. So we can click in the first box and type a 1. We're going to make it 1/2. Now notice, in order to advance to the next box, use your down arrow. It automatically highlights it. Ta-da! You have just created a fraction. So that's your first example. Let's now hit the Enter key, go to the next line. Let's do an equation of a line. I'm going to hit the Tab key. Now, do you remember the equation of a line in your math class? Let's go ahead and insert a new equation. Go to Insert. This time, again, we're doing the equation tools. So we're opening up our equation tools ribbon, and there's just one ribbon under here called Design. So to create the equation of a line, we have y, and I'm just going to use the equals to sign located on your keyboard, equals, but we have a fraction. So this is going to be -2/5 x. Back to my fraction, so I'm now using the fraction in a more complex equation. Let's go ahead and insert the stacked fraction. Click on the first piece, but this time it's going to include a negative number. So I just type the minus and the 2. Notice how it goes in the designated space. Use my down arrow and type a 5. Now, I'm done with my fraction. I want to go next to this fraction. So use the right arrow and notice how the right arrow brings your cursor next to this fraction right here. And this is where we're going to type x. And then it's +1 is the equation of a line. So you've just now created a more complex equation with a fraction in your equation editor. Hit the Enter key. All right, let's do something a little bit different. We're going to use a math symbol. So we're going to type inequalities. So go ahead, type inequality. And inequalities are using comparison symbols. Let's just hit the Tab key. So how do I type this inequality? So I'm going to say, again, equation editor. I recommend just inserting all of the math equation into one editor. So this inequality is 3, and this is going to be less than or equal to. Now, we need to find our less than or equal to symbol. Notice that it's a common symbol, so this is considered a basic symbol. Know that term when you're taking your PARCC test, because you're going to look under basic, and there it is, less than or equal to. And then it's less than or equal to 2 minus and a. That is an example of an inequality. So now you used a basic symbol located on your design ribbon under your equation tools. To continue, we're going to create a trig function. Now, I know many of you don't know trig functions, but you will when you take a later math class. So, to create trig functions, we use something called tangent, sine, and cosine. Well, check out the equation editor. Insert, go to equation. Notice that we have all these functions already built in. If you click on these functions, notice that they have tangent. So let's go ahead and type tan. Now, inside this cell, we're going to use a theta symbol. A theta symbol is located, believe it or not, that's considered a basic symbol. So go into your symbols, but you see it's not here. So hit the down arrow and look real closely. There it is. Now we're not yet done yet. So we need our equal to sign, and we want to continue with a fraction. So here you're going to notice that we have sine and cosine, but I want to get a fraction first. So let's go ahead and build a fraction. I'm going to use that stacked fraction form, click in the top box, and then go over to your function, down arrow, and I'm going to use my sine. And inside this little box, let's just use theta again. It's still visible. Click in the bottom, and I'm going to use back to my function, and I have my cosine. And click in the box, and we're going to use a theta again. So notice how trig functions can very easily be created in our equation tools. Let's continue. Next line. We're going to do a cube root. Now, cube root is going to have us create, of course, a radical. So I'm going to hit the tab key. To create a radical, again, equation editor. Insert, equation editor. Notice that you have all of these radicals here. Hit the down arrow, we have choices. Now, we're not doing 2, we're doing 3 because we want a cubed root. So I'm going to use this second example here. Notice how I have the little space for my 3? Go ahead, type in a 3. Then use your arrow to arrow over, or you can click in it and type your number. So let's do the cube root of 27. So you've now created a radical. Let's now work with lines. And we're going to do an array. And we're going to call it ray AB. Now this is a line that's going to continue going and going and going and going. That again is a equation. Go to Insert. Let's open up our equation tools. And inside our equation tools, we're now going to go to Ascent. If I go to Ascent, look all the way down. Do you see how you have your lines? Well, we're creating an array. An array puts an arrow over our ray. So I'm going to go choose this tool. Click in the box and simply hit AB. Again, those were found in Ascent. Let's do another one of those. This time we're going to do a line. So it's going to continue both ways. Line AB. Where ray has a starting point, line AB is going to be continual. Therefore, the line has to have 2 arrows on either side. Let's tab, Insert, Equation. Let's go back to the Ascent. Now, look down towards the bottom. It's the left and right arrow above. That's the one we want. And this is going to be in here, AB. So just type your AB. Getting comfortable with the equation editor? Hit the Enter key. Now let's do a line segment. So a segment of a line. And this is going to be of a line AB. Now, to do a line segment, we have no arrows. It's just a line above the number. Let's go back into our equation editor, Insert, Equation. Go back into Ascent, and now let's look. Where do we have the line and above? There it is. You have to look for it. It's just the bar. They call it the bar. Click on that, and then inside our box, we're typing AB. So now you have a segment of a line. Let's continue. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create an angle. So we're going to do an angle of ABC. Let's tab over. We're back to our equation editor. Insert, equation. Now, this time we have to look for that angle symbol, the angle symbol. And the angle symbol can be found within the symbol groups, but it's not basic symbols. So we have to change this up now. So I'm going to take out basic, and I'm going to go to geometry, because angles are talked about in your geometry classes. This is the angle symbol. So we're going to type an angle of ABC. So you've just created an angle and you changed up from your symbols menu. All right, the last formula. And this is the quadratic equation, because if we can do a quadratic equation, we are set. You will be comfortable with the equation editor. So, quadratic formula. Now, just so you know, there is a way of doing this automatically in the equation editor, but we're going to build this together just so you can build some comfort here. So let's go to Insert, Equation. Now, the quadratic equation is a big one. And if you notice, I can go under the equation and you're going to notice the quadratic formula located, where is it? It's in here somewhere. There it is. That's what we're going to create. So we're going to create that quadratic formula together. So let's do it. It's x. X equals. Okay. Now, where am I going next? I need to have a fraction. So I am doing this two different fractions here. There we go. Now, let's build on the top. So what is the top? It's going to be minus b plus with a minus under. All right, let's go back to our basic math. And we want the plus and the minus, where the plus is on top and the minus is below. It's the very first one. Now we have a radical. So we're going to go in and insert a radical here. So I'm just taking my very first radical. Now, I have to arrow into this box because this is going to be a long radical. And this is b to the second. Ooh, how am I going to do that? Well, that is a superscript. So we're going to click on script and we're going to create this simple little script. All right, click on that first box, and this is B. Use my right arrow. There's my 2. All right, now I have to arrow again so I'm right next to that formula. Minus. Do you see how it's still inside the radical? 4AC. You have now just finished the hardest part of the quadratic formula. Hit the down arrow to go into the bottom box, or you can click on it, and this is over 2A. Congratulations, you've just created the quadratic formula using your equation tools in Word. Now, open up the Park reference sheet. You're going to create a 2-column table using math formulas. Good luck. Save this and print this, please.